This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. CBO projects that the inflation rate is going to stay this high for at least another year. I'll give you the details on that. As Democrats eye a new deadline for the stimulus reconciliation deal with Joe Manchin, gas prices are remaining high. I'll let you know what one Republican senator says that could be done about that. Bernie Sanders and Lindsey Graham are going to face off in a debate series coming up soon. We'll talk about the $600 checks going out to millions of Americans and just days left to claim $1,000 checks for certain Americans, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm picking the winners for the $200 checks today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't signed up already and it's before 5 p.m., go ahead and do that, and I'm going to pick the winners then for $200 checks, so stay tuned for that. Let's get into it. So high inflation will persist into next year, CBO projects. So more details on that. CBO, which is the Congressional Budget Office, boosts U.S. GDP growth estimates, says inflation has topped and will cool to 2% by 2024. Which is kind of a far way away. So the nonpartisan group, which is the Congressional Budget Office, estimates a real gross domestic product, or GDP, will grow 3.1% in 2022. This came in from the report yesterday. In CBO's projections, the current economic expansion continues and economic output grows rapidly over the next year. The upbeat tone of the report included an implicit prediction that the Federal Reserve will be able to raise interest rates without tipping the U.S. economy into a recession. So it says that things might get better, although it estimates for GDP growth to grow in 2023, 2024, which is good, but inflation, they're saying, is going to take until 2024 in order to completely cool down, which means that it's going to stay up for a little while here. So it's saying inflation is probably going to be go down to 4.7% in 2022, and then 2.7% in 2023, and 2.3% in 2024. So according to this, it's still going to be high, and these are just projections. We don't know if there's going to be another crisis that'll come along and mess these projections up. So that's just what the CBO is saying. Just wanted to report that to you. And then Democrats eye new deadline for budget reconciliation deal with Manchin. So Manchin, what is he saying now? What's going on with the new budget reconciliation deal deadline? So the deadline is supposed to be just a week away, May 31st, which is definitely not happening at this point. And we haven't heard any Democrats trying to push that forward, but some Democrats still remain skeptical. An unknown Democrat senator said this, or unnamed, to keep anonymity: the administration is not getting it done. Their relationships are too damaged. Only through Schumer is it going to get done, but it's not like it's easy. I give it a 50-50 possibility of a modest bill getting done. So this is what a Democrat senator said, who wanted to remain anonymous, just said, which is kind of what a lot of other people are thinking. And Manchin on Monday reportedly said that the World Economic Forum panel in Davos, or what he said that the new package should fight inflation, reduce the deficit, and address climate change. And he told reporters last week that all 50 Senate Democrats should be able to support a bill that cuts prescription drug prices. So as usual, Joe Manchin saying, yes, we're going to get it done. I'm okay with it. I'm open to listening. But there is no actual new deadline set. So they say a new deadline, but after May 31st, they haven't set a new one. So doesn't look too good for the Democrats there. And Bernie Sanders, Lindsey Graham debate key public policy in Fox Nation live event. So Bernie Sanders and Lindsey Graham, two prominent senators in the Senate, one Republican, one Democrat, they're going to have a live event where they're just going to talk out a few different policy issues live and debate each other on that, which should be good because usually they're at each other in interviews and not really talking directly to each other. So it should be really interesting. That's not going to happen for a few more weeks, but I'll keep you updated on that. And gas prices have soared so high that the U.S. is now seeing demand destruction ahead of the summer driving season. So Yeah, gas prices are high and it's actually going to get a lot higher. But what is being done about it and what can be done about it? Take a look at what Republican Senator Ted Cruz has to say about that.
We talk about what government can and can't do, and that's where I want to start this conversation. We'll talk about China a little bit later too, with the news from yesterday. But you introduced some bills where the government would induce drilling, or at least induce hydrocarbon production. And I'm wondering whether, does that make sense? If that reminds me of social engineering or corporatism, or the government getting into what the free market should be doing on its own. Does that go against what you would normally do by trying to tell companies how they should be deploying their assets?
Well, let me be very clear. I don't want the government drilling for oil and gas. What I want the federal government to do is get the hell out of the way and let the private sector operate. It's an amazing thing watching the White House's talking points, because they're right now trying to claim these skyrocketing gas prices. They have nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with any government policies. And that doesn't pass the straight face test. Joe Biden, when he was campaigning, in 2020, he promised the American people, he said, if you elect me, I'm going to shut down drilling. I'm going to shut down drilling on federal land. I'm going to shut down drilling. End it now. That's what he promised. And if you look at his record, he's put in place policy after policy after policy. It has been a relentless assault, all designed to do everything possible to stop domestic energy production, to stop production of oil in the United States, to stop production of natural gas. And it's had its intended effect. We've seen when Biden became president, the average price of gasoline nationwide was $2.38 a gallon. Today, it's actually, the numbers you have, I think, are one day off now. Today, the national average is $4.71 a gallon. That is a massive impact that is hurting working families across the country. And suddenly, the political operatives in the White House realize people don't like spending $100 to fill their minivan. They don't like spending $150 to fill their truck. And so now the White House is trying to blame everyone else. They're trying to blame the greedy oil companies. They're trying to blame Vladimir Putin. Anyone but the people who actually put these policies in place.
Let me just give you a look at this is a Wall Street Journal today, and it's a bigger. This predates the Biden administration, and it turns out that now the way that certain oil executives are paid has nothing to do with production anymore. In fact, it used to, and that's been changed because of pressure, and it comes from all over the place, from ESG and from some of the financial institutions that have been induced. Or because of maybe Larry Fink, he's running a big financial institution, doesn't want hydrocarbon production, so he's pressuring these companies. So it predates the Biden. I would certainly blame it on the left side of the equation, and on climate hysteria is one of the reasons that we've gotten to this point. But it's not Biden. It's everywhere. It's in Europe. You can't look anywhere where there isn't pressure being brought to bear on fossil fuel companies to leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Well, you can look at the United States in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. And listen, I agree with you. Does Wall Street bear some of the responsibility? Absolutely. Does Larry Fink personally? There's a Larry Fink surcharge. Every time you fill up your tank, you can thank Larry for the massive and inappropriate ESG pressure. And by the way, when Trump was president, one of the things I sat in the Oval Office with him and urged him to press back against Wall Street using ESG to try to leverage and force people to stop energy production. America being energy independent is incredibly important for our national security and also for the vibrancy of our economy. But Joe, look, on this show, you guys cover the markets all the time. The White House's talking point on the oil companies is they say suddenly the oil company CEOs are these evil, greedy bastards. Now, I'm not going to suggest to you that oil company CEOs or any other CEOs are wonderful, altruistic Mother Teresas. They all have profit motives. But you know what? They had a profit motive when Trump was president. They wanted to make money, too. And the idea that suddenly things change, if you can just look at the facts for a second, and in particular, Biden sworn in $2.09 is the average price of gas. Now look at the decisions that Biden made. He starts on January 20th, the very first day in office. He cancels the Keystone Pipeline. That's on January 20th. Then on January 27th, he halts new oil and gas leases on federal lands. Then on February 19th, he rejoins the Paris Climate Agreement. Then on May 7th, he takes 30% of lands off limits for oil and gas. Then on June 1st, he halts drilling in Anwar, the incredibly oil-rich small region of Alaska. Then on June 30th, Congress reverses Trump's natural gas regulations. Then on October 7th, Biden reverses Trump NEPA regulations, which made it easier to drill. Then on October 29th, Interior begins imposing the, quote, social cost of carbon. November 15th, the moratorium on oil drilling in Chaco Canyon. And then right here, February 24th, Russia invades Ukraine. So from here to here, Russia had not invaded Ukraine. That's all Joe Biden. That's government policies. Now, after the invasion of Ukraine, yes, that had an effect driving up prices, but also after that, March 1st, Biden releases oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserves. May 12th, Biden cancels remaining lease sales, and March 21st, the SEC proposes the anti-oil rule. It has been a relentless war of policy, and I point out, Joe, this is what Joe Biden promised us. In this instance, not many instances, but in this instance, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are meeting their campaign promises.
No, I have the tape. Look at me. Look at me. I will end the fossil fuel. I have the tape. I have the tape during the campaign.
Yep.
You know, we had a bleep earlier, and what'd you say? They're not a bunch of Mother Teresas. Did you see that, Becky? We were ready to bleep that again. We were ready, but you came out with, I'm going to start using that with a bunch of Mother Teresas.
What are your thoughts on what Ted Cruz has to say? Do you agree, disagree? He brought up a few points there that go against what the Democrats want. Can gas prices go down? Let me know your thoughts on all that. It's kind of crazy now. So next, let's get into stimulus. So tax rebate 2022 live updates. Deadline in days for $1,000 New Mexico credit as Georgia others offers cash to claim. So what's going on here is in New Mexico, tax rebate up to $1,000 will hit bank accounts of New Mexico residents as a one-time cash payout, but there are only 6 days left to claim for non-filers. So if you live in New Mexico, you could get a $500 check or a $1,000 check. So $1,000 for couples, $500 for singles, and then also talking about Georgia here, $250 for singles, $375 for head of household. Married couples get $500 checks there. So it's the deadline for the New Mexico one is on May 31st. So if you live there, take advantage of that. And then millions of Americans to see direct deposits of $600 in days. So this is going on in Delaware. So 600,000 Delaware taxpayers who filed 2020 state tax returns will automatically receive relief rebates by the end of the month. Individuals will receive $300. Married couples will receive $600. So yeah, by the end of the month, Delaware should get $300 and $600 stimulus checks as well. And that is all the news that I have for you today. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, my name is Bella. This is the tip of the day. If you make a mistake, then it's okay. You learn from your mistake, it makes you a better person. So it's okay. It's okay. We still love you. We like you a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, I am picking the winners at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, Thursday the 26th, though you still have some time to sign up and potentially win a $200 check if you want to. And yep, today we're having a family day. It's going to be me, my wife, and Kalea. Bella is actually with some other family for a couple days. And my wife just worked a 24-hour shift yesterday, so it's just me, Kalea, and Christine. We're going to have a good time today, give her all the attention that she could possibly get. And yeah, anyways, if you want to check out my latest video, my other channels, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.